Judge Perdition here in the beautiful Orlando, Florida, living in the moment. But I want you to know that I've prepared for your edification and symposium and synopsis on a couple points that I wanted to share with you that I think are very funny. And what started this, I was coming across songs, and I came across this song called Return to Innocence by Enigma. And it's about remembering things in your past that you were happy about. And that will help you remember who you were before things got all tangled up. So I did that. And I remember a commercial. You can learn a lot from a dummy, which is true. I can understand that. Scientists use crash test dummies to evaluate what happens in an accident to make better car safety features. Okay? Unfortunately, medical doctors, and there's a book about this called Medical Apartheid, in various countries around the world at different times in history have used people for medical experiments to advance medical technology and science and treatment procedures. Saying you got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet may not be a good application for humans, but currently, the last I heard from took place in 1999 when the Communist China Party were attacking the Falun Gong. And among the many things that they were doing to these people, they were farming them medically for organs and doing other heinous experiments on them. Now, what can you learn from a bullfight? Okay, two things. Being a bullfighter, a matador, is flashy. You get to dress up, chicks like that. You get to parade around in a costume and all with a red apron or flag or whatever, blanket, whatever you want to call it, waving it at the bull, right? Well, the object behind this is goading, and people do this in the real world. They instigate, they use inflammatory remarks. They're always trying to start some shit. I remember this guy said, don't start nothing, they won't be nothing. Well, if they could learn that lesson, the world wouldn't have all the problems that it does, but people just seem to enjoy starting shit, especially when they see somebody happy. They try to mess it up, but you can't let them. But anyway, a matador, what he does, right? He wants to get this bull so mad that the bull just charges blindly into a situation where the matador can defeat him or cut his throat and kill him, depending where and what type of bullfight you're watching. Okay, well, I'll tell you something else. Bronco busting, riding bulls, and cowboy crap, that ain't no easy job. I don't know if you ever rode a horse, but I rode one bareback before. And let me tell you something. Jockey's got the job cut out for him. But I tell you, because riding a horse, when he gets going, it has some impact on your body. Just think about a guy riding a bull or a bronco horse, and that son of a gun, is throwing you up in the air, and you're trying to hold on. And they even had bull riding in Texas. So people like to be crash test dummies. They're gluttons for punishment. Look at football players. They run up and down the field knocking the hell out of each other. Even when they get injured, they come back. That's why I like WWE. Last I read, Triple H had a knee injury. He had to go to specialists in Alabama to have it fixed. But he's persevering. He's back. And that's the way I was. I took a licking and kept on ticking. I might have changed courses like a river because I learned something from water. Water will tear down anything, but sometimes it doesn't do it directly. It changes course, but eventually it will wear away. Chip away at the stone. That's what Aerosmith sang. Get that girl. Chip away. All right. Yesterday and today, what do I want to talk about? I got off track. Oh, the Falun Gong. Yeah, so beware of people that try to instigate and use incendiary, inflammatory remarks and all that. Or you might end up like the matador or the bronco buster. See, it's all cool when you beat that animal. But I tell you what, you piss that son of a bitch off and he gets you in his crosshairs, that bull will gore you and he might kill or maim you for life. The same way with that horse. That son of a bitch kicks you in your face and stomps on you. Hey, a couple jockeys have died from getting stomped on in a race. So, I don't know. People got trampled at an AC/DC concert too. So, hey, I guess we all take our chances. What about the Airborne Rangers? One man after another jumping out of airplanes. I tell you what, dreams don't always come true, but that ain't no reason to stop. One of the reasons a lot of my dreams didn't come true was lack of planning, lack of focus, didn't apply myself, and I lacked the resources and the finances necessary to accomplish a goal. And, I had to learn that over time, but it's all good. I'm still alive. I survived. Okay, let me see here. I like to be a problem solver, not a problem maker or a problem starter. So you got to focus, you got to understand what you want to do, you try to be the best at it, have some gumption, innovate, apply yourself, adapt to change quickly, and lack of finances and resources will bust you up every time. I'm not telling you how to live, I'm not giving you advice. If I gave you advice, I'd want to be paid for it. I'm just sharing some things that could happen along the way, and maybe you should be aware of. I tell you something, anyway. Now, let's see here. I have some interesting things that I want to share. According to the Bible, Jesus suffered, and I was taught that he suffered so that I don't have to, all right? So don't try to make me suffer for your bullshit. I'm sorry I cussed. Stoya, I'm glad you're not here and don't give a shit about me, or I'd probably have to throw money in your jar for cussing. Jesus Christ, on these websites now, you got to pay to talk to a girl. I guess these date sites that pop up, they're a trick. You get an email and it's junk mail and you got a link and you go on there and it's, sign up and meet free girls in the area. So I'm like, yeah, I'd like to meet a chick. I ain't doing it tonight. Bam, I hit it, and what happens? Oh, you get a message from a hot girl, right? And she's like, oh, I stutter. Is that a bitch or what? I don't always. I'm an eloquent speaker, but I just do it to ad-lib. Anyway, I could fool you quickly because I've been fooled. It takes a fool to fool a fool, and hard beats the joker. Anyway, what do I got to say now? Judge Perdition wants to let you know. When I hit the link, the girl sends a message. Oh, baby, I want to meet you. Look at my hot, sweet stash. And you do, and you fall for it, and then you post, oh, you'll have to sign up, and it'll cost you $1. That's why when I get an email or anything from anybody now, and they say, look, I want to meet you. Well, let me tell you something. You offer me a site, and the first thing is going to happen. I do not do sites. I do not put information on the internet. Nada. Let's see here. Sometimes when you look up a song, 20 songs pop up on YouTube that you didn't know about. Sometimes when you search for movies or terms, I thought if a song had a title, that no one else would try to use that title. But I found hundreds of songs that have the same title, but different meanings and different lyrics. So now I want to discuss something with you I found very interesting. Back in the 60s, all these songwriters were writing about true love, a man and a woman. Now, my parents and family were that way. I don't know what they did or didn't do as far as I found swingers magazines and all. I don't know if they did it or not. They didn't tell me. But I do know this. They stayed married. And whatever was going on, I didn't know nothing about it. They didn't even teach me about a credit score. Jesus Christ. They didn't teach me much of anything. They just turned me loose on the world. So that's Mom, their gift to the world. But anyway, look. So what I'm trying to say is, when I was 14, my dad got caught cheating. And my mom says, will you do it again? And apparently my mom wasn't into that crap. And my dad said, I don't know, I might. And that was, she said, well, I'm not going to have you. And I lived in such a small town that she eventually remarried a guy that I grew up with in the trailer court we lived in before we moved to our house. And then many years later, the girl that I played with, his daughter, in the trailer court, became my stepsister. And now she don't even talk to me, don't give a shit about me. And that's okay. We had fun one time on a camping trip, but I'll keep that secret, babe. But anyway, what am I trying to say? Let's see. Yeah, so they worked at the same place. My dad and stepside, he worked for the same company. And my Uncle Roger worked at it too. Chrysler wouldn't give me a job, so that's all right. That's yesterday. I don't live Live in the moment, a girl told me. I'm going currently to a temple and learning about something new that I didn't know about, which I like to do because I'm an artistic person and I like to create things and innovate, and I like to learn about the world around me and why people do what they do. I don't get paid to do any of it, but it's kind of fun. You know, I'm going swimming later, but right now I get to do. So I'm there and just live in the moment, forget about the past. And see, that's what people do from the past sometimes. They like to throw that crap up because they don't want you to enjoy today, especially if you're enjoying it without them. Now, that's a shame people are messed up like that. But anyway, I want to discuss something with you here. Be careful. Date rape and sex offenses are easy to get, and the porn lifestyle makes all that shit look simple. Now, what I wanted to tell you is porn evolved over the years. But that lifestyle now is more prevalent, swinging, swapping, all these different sex acts that were unknown to me growing up. They got sex dictionaries now. They made rocket science out of it. I mean, you know, so I'll get back to that in a minute. But what I was saying is that sex offender registry messes up your life. It is not good. People will discriminate against you. They don't care. You know, it's just a black label to reject you, no matter what the circumstances. And society's always looking for a reason to reject you because it's competitive. And, you know, be careful because, you know, there's all kinds of stuff that happens and it is what it is. But I want to get back to the point that I'm trying to make. See, the porn lifestyle shows these women and having sex with all these guys, and the guys don't get jealous, and the women don't get jealous when their guy hits all these girls, and you know, that's all great, and I love that lifestyle. So I'm going to be hanging around with them because I don't want to hang around with a chick like Lorena Bobbitt. I don't know if you're the story of Lorena and John Bobbitt, but this was in '93, I think. And this story was Lorena accused John of continually raping her, beating her, slapping her around, and sodomizing her. And she wasn't into that shit, so one night when he was asleep, she cut off his dick. Cut his dick off. Think about that. Now, this is the point that I want to make. In law, there's a term called mens rea. I don't even know if I pronounced it right. It's MENSREA. And in a judge's decision of whether you're guilty of the crime or not, mens rea is a large percentage of the deciding factor. And what mens rea mean? Intent. What was your intent with the action you committed? Well, if a person mistakenly believes that they have consent to do something or what they're doing isn't wrong, and right and wrong is a big argument in this world. But if they believe that what they're doing is consensual, or they mistakenly believe it, or that is okay, then there's no criminal intent, which will reduce the severity of their level of guilt. Now, Sasha Grey, for instance. She's on the porn set. Well, I don't know if she is anymore, but used to. She'd have 10 guys smacking her in the face with dick, twisting her titties, ramming her in the butt, twisting her up like a pretzel, standing on her head, pulling her hair, spitting in her face, spitting in her mouth, slapping the shit out of her. And she's like, oh yeah, give it to me. She's all red and flush and humping and squirting. Well, that's all good. Now, I don't know if it's an act. I never met the lady. If that's what she likes to do, that's what turns her on. Well, there you go. I don't know. But in the case, this is legal because she gave these men consent to do it to her. Now, apparently, Miss Bobbitt did not give John consent to be screwing her in the ass and beating her up. So she got even. So you got to watch out. That bull might just get your ass if you keep screwing with it. Okay, anyway, who gives a shit? Apparently you don't. Just another hospital visit or a trip to the grave where the fire ants can beat you. And especially here, I learned too, there's two types of fire ants here in the south of America now. Back when I visited Texas out of high school and worked down there, there was one kind, and it was not aggressive. And if it stung you, it burned for about 10 minutes and then it was done. And, you know, that's it. They might ruin a picnic if you stepped in a nest of them. But there's another kind here in Florida and across the USA that are invasive, and they're aggressive, and it's a different type of fire ant. And it came from Brazil, and they say it came in the 40s into the ports of New Orleans, Alabama, Pensacola, and on. These son of a guns, when they bite you, it'll burn for days. You'll get a pimple and a pus head on it. And if you can have an allergic reaction, if you step on a nest and get bit enough, you can die from it. And these son of a guns are aggressive feeders. They like meat, they like protein, they like plants and stuff. And they do more harm to the environment than they do good, although they do eat a lot of rodents and small animals and stuff. Living, they hunt and kill with their stinger. All right, but that's cool. So you gotta, you know, all right. Now I'll tell you two things. Baby, I'm your man, or I'm your man. Now I looked that up. There's 20 videos. I just thought George Michaels from Wham sang that back when he was a hot-looking dude. George Michaels was handsome, even for a man. I thought he was handsome, just like that guy from the Bee Gees, the one with the big puffy hair. He was handsome. Barry, I don't know which one it was, so I won't say any name. But one of them was really handsome. But George Michaels was handsome. There's rumors about him, who gives him shit. But I'm going to say, his song, I'm Your Man, is about how much he loves one woman and wants one thing from that woman. On the other hand, I'm Your Man by Big Yayo is this cowboy with a lot of swag singing about he knows women have fantasies and he's there to help them live them out. Well, I'm that way. I'll accommodate the lady. If she's my type of lady and she wants to do shit, hey, just tell me. I'll accommodate you. I'm good at shit. I'm pretty inventive, too. I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, I learned that in my childhood neighborhood friends. I'm going to get to that. It's hilarious. Let me see. There's a video by Apollonia Ponti called 10 Types of Women to Avoid. So I went to Google that. Well, 100 women and 100 men have that, and some of them are 5 types, 4 types, 10 types, 20 types. I don't know. So I'm like, God damn, I got all day to watch all these videos of shit. I have to avoid everybody. No wonder inventing, robotic sex partners, because women and men are so distorted that it ends up. Don't give love a bad name, you dumbass. Now, all these guys have these videos about the god-darn alpha male. Well, I talked on that in a previous video. I'm going to speak on it again. You can have all that alpha stuff. Let me tell you what John Cougar Mellencamp on in his song Play Guitar said. He said, forget all about that macho shit and learn how to play guitar. That's what gets girls. Well, everybody's got a different idea about what gets girls on it, you know. It's like a fish. Some of them bite worms, some of them bite flashy lures. I don't know. Well, I don't get that anyway. But Conway Twitty's got a song called Play Guitar, and if you don't know who that is, he's an old country singer, throwback country singer. So is John Cougar Mellencamp. Actually, the song that's on the album, is my favorite John Cougar album, because I liked every song on that. And I want to thank my high school buddy and my brother by another mother, bass player Mitch Wessel. God knows where he's at. Big Mitchie. I hope his back's getting better. But Mitchie turned me on to that album, and I've been singing it ever since. But it's all good. Let me see. My first grade crush. I still remember. Do you remember yours? My first grade crush was Barbara. She had a brother named Bill, a brother named Jody, and a brother named Scott. She had a sister named Cindy and a mother. And it was like the Brady Bunch. All them girls looked like their mother, and they were all hot. Cindy, Barbara, and her mom all had black hair. They were Italian or something. And I don't know. They had a permanent suntan year-round. Beautiful girl. And she was my beach baby. I camped with her at Tuckahoe Acres. And let me tell you the weird thing how this happened. Now, see, my favorite thing to do with Barbara, and they usually camp right next to us. Me and Barbara and her brothers they'd throw me to football. They like to throw me to football. I like that. And then me and Barb would go shoot pool and listen to Edgar Winter, Free Ride, and Frankenstein and something else. Barbara didn't think I had good talking abilities. Bless her heart for that. Well, one time me and Barbara, I got romantic. I said, "Hey, Barb, let's go out on this paddle boat. It's a pontoon with bicycle pedals, and you pedal around with the." Was that, Bethany, the backwater bay? Yeah, her brothers and dad used to go catch sharks in that. But me and Barb went out on the pontoon. Well, Barb, she don't need suntan oil. She's got a tan all the time, year round. Me, I'm white as a ghost, so I didn't even think of suntan oil. I come back, me and her off the boat, went to the campsite. Her dads and brothers are cleaning their boat, and my dad's at the campsite. Well, my legs blistered up. I had blisters from my short line all the way to my ankles all over. And he said, "Son, where the hell you been?" I said, "I took Barb out on the pontoon." I said, "I got a sunburn. Look at all these blisters." He jumped up and whipped his belt off his pants, and whipped my goddamn legs and busted all them blisters and just beat my ass in front of Barbara, Dad, and her whole family, and that's the last time I ever saw Barb. So one time in Pennsylvania somewhere camping, I seen a dude that looked like her brother Jody and her brother Scott, but they didn't say shit, so I figured they didn't recognize me, didn't care, life went on. So that's that. I don't care. I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you, Dad. May you rest in heaven. I forgive you for whipping my ass in front of my girlfriend. I should have beat your ass, but I respected my dad. I never tried to hit my dad. Didn't want to do that. I never been knocked out. I'm not bragging. I didn't want to be a fighter. It just happened. I mean, I got trained. I didn't train. I didn't eat the right stuff. I didn't work out till later in life, and I was working out to be fit so I could have sex, not and healthy, and make money and all, not to fight people. I went through that phase though one time, but let me tell you what happened in second grade. Howard taught me about the shuck and jive, stick and move, fade left, fake right, beat their ass kind of scenario. See, Howard approached me all sweet and kind like he wanted to play. And then I said, I thought we were playing, so I wasn't really, I'm just playing. And Howard, the first opportunity he got, knocked my head off a brick wall. Well, let me tell you something, that didn't feel too good, but I didn't get knocked out, but it sure didn't feel good. Anyway, the second thing, Charmaine taught me, use anything at your disposal. Never did a damn thing to Charmaine. She used a surprise attack during a riot between the blacks and the whites. And I don't know why Charmaine picked me out, because I wasn't fighting and involved in that crap, and I didn't care. Anyway, I'm standing there, and she walked up behind me with a bag of rocks and whacked me in the head. Well, it didn't knock me out, but I didn't like that either. Tommy Schuler banged my head off a goddamn bus window. Tommy Schuler was in 12th grade. I think I was in 6th. I seen him later in life. He bought my son some eardrops. So, I mean, I didn't feel like getting even. I didn't even think about it. I just took it in stride. Anyway, George and Billy Bear. Childhood inventions that, I'm going to incorporate childhood inventions with how I was trained to take an ass whooping. Okay, George Bear was going to show me. George and Billy were these two guys that played with me. They were older guys up the street. They were friends that I grew up with, and they played with me all the time. And I always laughed at them because we were always doing shit, inventing stuff, making the best out of what we had. We used to make trails through the woods for bicycles and hiking and motorcycles and mini bikes. And then we would play three-man baseball, sometimes two-man. And we would take old cracked baseball bats, put nails in them, and electric tape. Their dad worked for an electric company, so the tape was green. We'd tape up the bats. We'd take a wiffle ball and wrap tape around it 1,000 times like they do a golf ball and thread. And that son of a gun would be harder than a baseball, and then we'd wing it at each other and play baseball. Sometimes Billy would pitch and I'd hit, and then it'd be his turn. We'd play 9 innings. Sometimes when it was three-man, George would pitch, and it would be me up and then Billy, you know how it's played. And we also had three-man ditch football. Now, Billy was a big fan of Dallas. George never played that game with us, but he played football when other people were together. But it was one-on-one, me against Billy. We played ditch football, and Billy Bear was a Dallas fan, so he had all the Dallas gear, and he also liked Pittsburgh, so sometimes he'd wear that. And I was like him. I had 2 teams. I had Miami and Oakland Raiders, so I wear my gear. how you play ditch ball, it's you got to crash the line. It's the end zone. The ditch is the end zone. It's a 3-foot drainage ditch in front of his house. The defenseman lines up right on the ditch. You're the running back, and George is the quarterback. So the play is always the same. It's a straightforward, whatever they call that, a dive. He hands you the ball, you crash the line. If you bust through the defense or go in the ditch, you score. And that's that. That's how we played. And in the rain, snow, mud, we didn't give a shit. So that's all good. So George was telling me one time he's going to show me how to break out of a full Nelson. I've seen that a million times, how you break out a full Nelson. Well, George embellished the whole thing, George, I broke out. I had him in a full Nelson. He broke out. But what George did, he turned around and straight jabbed me in the nose and knocked me in the trash cans. Well, shit, it's like the Eric Clapton song. Don't ever get mad if you get hit in a barroom fight. I just got up. I didn't have any. I wasn't even mad. I was all right. And we boxed in Brian Holland's garage, and, it was all good. Johnny Wallstrom, my buddy Johnny, he told me when you get your ass whipped inside, run and strike from a distance. How he taught me that. Me and Johnny was going at it one day in the front yard. I had him. I was whooping his ass. Johnny got out of there. Well, in our driveway was gravel. Johnny picks up his blue granite rock and wings that son of a bitch. Whacked me right in the ear, dropped me to one knee. I'm down on my knees and seeing stars. I'm like, holy shit. Well, I woke up. I didn't knock out. I just was not dazed a little bit. I got the hell up, and Johnny was running. I never seen him run so fast in his life. He was so far down the street, there was no use even chasing him, so I sucked that up. I got a few good in. His head was hard as rock. I think I dislocated my pinky socking him in his rock head. Well, that's what you get, see, dumbass. Anyway, I don't know. I shouldn't be cussing. There I'm cussing again. But I like this. This is how I express myself. I can use big words like symposium and orchestral and all. I got a term. These porn stars these girls really taught me some shit I didn't know. Now, in my life, I've been spit on twice. Once, it was at a job site, and 2 companies were competing for the contract for DuPont, plant science and animal science building, for the plumbing and pipe fitting jobs. I worked for MCO Mechanical. They got the contract. Well, the other company was pissed off, and they were picking it. And I went to work, and the guy's all mad at me, and he's like, I said, well, you didn't hire me, I got a family to feed. And he spits on me. Well, and then, I went to work. But if you spit on somebody, that's insulting, because that carries disease, and you can look it up, and it's a sign of disrespect, ill content, malice, and it's inflammatory. They're saying, come on, I want to fight your ass, It's hate. Well, the porn industry changed the whole intent of that, and I'll get to that in a minute. Second time I got spit on, I was in a lockup. We were out in the yard, divided in cages. And there was 3 Spanish guys in the cage next to me. I didn't say shit to them. They didn't even speak English. Some of a bitch spit on me. It pissed me off so bad, my adrenaline level went so high that my throat was dry from adrenaline. I couldn't even get any spit up, and they thought that was funny. I was trying to spit at them. Then I was trying to rip the damn fence down. I didn't care how many there were. Billy Bear told me that. Billy's a little guy. He would fight an army by himself. He didn't give a shit. But a girl whipped his ass. My sister whipped his ass. His wife whipped his ass. Well, there you go. What are you going to do? Bill was a brave guy. Poor Billy. He went to opioid and heroin. Goodbye, death. So anyway. Billy is a bonehead. I smoked my first joint with Billy. I'll tell you about his cars in a minute. Anyway, long story short, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, yeah, I'm trying to rip the fence down. So to add insult to injury, the lieutenant of the prison grabs me and writes me up, gives me a misconduct for spitting or trying to spit. He takes me to the hearing. He says, why are you spitting on it? I spitting, trying to fight him and tear the fence down. What the hell's wrong with you? The son of a bitch has spit on me, I said. He said, well, you're wrong. You're not supposed to spit back. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm Jesus Christ, all right. No, I'm not. You ain't going to spit on me. Well, Stoya changed the whole thing. Her and this chick is spitting in each other's mouth and then kissing. I'm like, oh, shit, she likes that. I hope they were tested. And then snowballing. I found out snowballing is when a girl swallows a lot of cum and she keeps it in her mouth and then has another chick open her mouth and lets the cum drip out of her mouth into the other girl's mouth. What kind of sexual pleasure can you get from that? Apparently some people do. I don't know. I don't know. I never tried it, never had an inclination. I wouldn't be sucking nobody's body fluids unless I was sure they was tested. And I ain't eating no goddamn loogies either. You ain't spitting, don't be spitting loogies in my face. I don't find nothing sexual about that. All right, so there's mens rea. And sex spitting is actually a sex term, and it excites you, and it's supposed to be cool and pleasurable. And then in society, if a guy spits on you, well, now, see, I'm confused. If a guy spits on me, I would say, you want to rub my butt cheeks? Or, you know, I don't know. What the hell are you supposed to do? Then and now, see, I'm trying to keep up with the times. So I never been knocked out. Oh, my friend, brothers up the street, Kurt and Keith. What I learned from Kurt and Keith, sucker punch them and sneak them from the back. Then tag team their ass and you'll win every time. And it's dirty pool, god darn it. Cheat me to beat me. Oh, badass talk. This one guy told us, I thought this was funny. This guy they were talking smack, you know, and the guy says, I'm going to whip your ass. He says, yeah, well, let me tell you something, buddy. I hope you can take it, because I can. He says, you want to dish it out, you're going to get something back. And let me tell you something. Bring a lunch, bring your friends, and be ready tomorrow, too, because it's going to be an all-week job if it even gets done by then. I was like, oh, that's some real shit there, buddy. I'm freelancing a free agent, and I'm trying to hook up with congenial people because I don't want to be fighting in the bars and, you know, like boys fight dirty or boys. I'll get to it. Bad Company had a song about that. I got a song for everything I say in here. Okay, what did I learn from Kevin Hall? Kevin Hall taught me a lesson, a martial arts lesson. And of all places, I didn't even like basketball, but we were playing basketball in gym. It was, I don't know, 10th grade, 11th grade. And Kevin Hall apparently had an issue with me because he said something, but he never come up and said, hey, I'm going to fight you, I got an issue, I don't like you, blah, blah, blah. He didn't do that. He come into our class, he was a much older guy, snuck in our gym period and was playing basketball. And what I learned from Kevin is if you come down on somebody's knee, on the outside of their knee on an angle, straight down on the outside, you will dislocate their knee. And he did that to me, never apologized. And I recovered. Back then, surgeries weren't too good. But let me tell you the effects on that. I didn't get in the Navy because of that. So that changed the course of my life. And my stepdad was in the Navy, and he let me go to the goddamn physical without telling me, well, they're going to fail you because you got pins in your knee. That's right. He messed my knee up so bad they had to put pins in it. So think about that. You want to pay that price for banging it up? Boys are crash test dummies. They don't give a crap. I know. I was one time. Okay, where am I at now? I didn't want this video to be this long, but I'm having fun. So, Love TKO by Teddy Pendergrass is a great song to listen to. I am a free agent looking for congenial people. I said that. Now, as far as hitting girls, as a boy, I did a little bit, but I was confused about that. I'll tell you why. My sister kicked me out of bunk bed. That's what started the whole thing when I was about 4 years old. She was in the top bunk, and I climbed up there to sleep with her, and I come over the top, and she kicked me right in the chest, and boom, down I went. The next thing, my cousin Tammy socked me in the nose when I walked in the room. I mentioned that, but see, my rage about that was misguided, so I didn't take it out on my sister and Tammy. It went down the way, and I was in the bus line in first grade, and my now stepsister, Bev, butted me in line, and I said, you ain't butting me, and I socked her in the eye. Well, she didn't say nothing, and I went to school. My dad told me later, don't be hitting girls, boy, I'll whip your ass. So, you know, I wasn't going to do that anymore. So then I was confused. I seen this fourth grader pushing this girl around on the playground. I'm in first grade. I'm Mr. Brave Guy. I go up to him and tell him, you shouldn't be hitting girls. Well, one thing led to another, and me and him gets to scuffling. And he's older and stronger, and I wind up on the bottom, and then, so that's how that worked out. When I was 14, this girl was blue balling me and dick teasing me, making fun of me. I socked her in the head. I shouldn't have did it, but I got tired of that. I had a hard on. She wouldn't give me none and kept making fun of me. I did not like that. Well, I would never do it again, but I was a young man, 13. Anyway, and then I don't hit women unless they want me to now, so it's all good. WWE changed that. So I said that before. Let's see. ZZ Top wrote a song, It's Only Love, and it's a good song. Well, the Beatles wrote that song. Reb Thomas, Bryan Adams, and Tina Turner did it. And these are about romances that people want to last. Well, today romances are disposable. It's like, temporary, temporal romance, instant gratification, and it's all good. I want to get paid to have instant gratification as much as I can. Let me see. 3-man baseball, 3-man football, the full Nelson. Yeah, I think I went through this. Howard. Why I don't work. Why I work for myself. Because employers treated me shitty. My first thing was I got spit on at a job site, and, the company never offered me an apology, compensation, an apprenticeship, or nothing. So they used me. Bye. Let's see. On a garbage truck, I got assaulted by this guy. I don't even remember his name, but I remember the company. It was L&T Sanitation in Newark, Delaware. I was a helper for Michael Leach. Me and the guy were working together one day, and the driver could not, he couldn't get the truck in reverse, so I had to keep going up every stop, putting it in reverse, and then, taking off. So the next day, this guy, the same guy, he acts all nice to me that day. The next day, he's all, I don't want to work with you. I said, is there a problem, dude? What's up? And he just starts swinging away. Well, I can take a punch. I just backed up, taking punches. And, he got winded. I guess he run out of gas, and I was like, well, okay. I wasn't mad. Didn't have a bruise, didn't draw blood. I was getting up in the truck. He pulled me down from behind and started pounding on me again. You know what I told him? I'm going to hurt you. And I started getting up. He took off running, and that was the end of that. But I want a rematch with your ass, buddy. Yeah, you got something coming if I ever find your ass. I got a maintenance. I was a maintenance man in Northeast Maryland. And I painted and I supervised the maintenance procedures like jobs, like big roofing jobs, drywall jobs or whatever. They had contractors. All I do is go on the Rolodex, pull a contractor, hey, come out and fix this. Little things I fixed, prepped apartments when people moved in or out. Walked around, took care of the grounds. One day these 3 guys come running in chasing this guy with baseball bats. And they're tweaked up. I can tell they're methed out. They're beating the shit out of this poor guy. So I broke it up. I said, look, the cops are coming, get out of here. The guy that they were beating on run in the house and locked the door, and they turned on me. I had a pickaxe because I was working in the garden. I guess they thought I brought it to fight or something. One of them swung at me and whacked me. I blocked with my arm, and then they took off. I said, did the employer, Leon Weiner, offer me any compensation or apology? No, hell no. No, he didn't. So that's that. Let's see. What else happened to me? Oh, the first job I had in high school at a forklift factory, I learned 2 things. People talked about sex. Them guys used to talk about sex all day. Embarrassed the hell out of me. I didn't know you did that at work. They had rubber dicks. When I would go up to the part window, the guy would be standing there with a rubber dick hanging down to his knee. There was 2 hot-looking chicks there, Ann and Juanita, built like a big gazongers. And these guys all day long making fun of them, and they just laughed. Ann was the general manager's secretary. Later on, I learned she was a spy for my dad. My dad was dating her. I never knew that. And then, I don't know, they embarrassed me. I was shy. And, so life went on. I was working at a restaurant one time as a dishwasher for Marriott. And I thought there would be some upward mobility because I was a smart dude. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. This is why I work for myself. So there's a girl hostess named Vicky Provic. Never forget her. Hot looking girl, beautiful. And they had to wear like a nice top and long skirt. And she looked good, boy. Tall girl, sandy blonde hair, pretty big, tight, firm. But I never said nothing to her sexual. And anyway, Marriott, once you do one job, they want you to do X. They try to see how much they can get you to do for as little as possible, so I got tired of that. Anyway, my job was washing dishes, then it became washing dishes and taking down the buffet line and bussing the tables and bussing, so I went out front. And Miss Provic's at the cash register. She's the hostess. A line around the block paying for their meals because, there was a rocking place at the buffet. And so I'm underneath the counter where they keep glasses in these carts, and I was under there pulling them out. And sometimes people drop change under there, and I would grab that change. So I'm under there with the line, grabbing the change. And Miss Provic says, "Are you trying to look up my dress?" And I was embarrassed as hell, and I pulled out of there in front of them people and stood up next to her. I said, "No, I'm trying to get these goddamn quarters out from underneath this dish counter." And then I go in the back, and I'm like, shit, I should have looked up her dress. I probably got excited. But if it was a porn movie, we could have did it on the counter, and all the people could have joined in and poured syrup on us, and it would have been great. But I mean, what are you going to do? Well, I quit the job because they wouldn't promote me. And I went in there one day, I had a few beers, I had to piss like a racehorse. I'm sitting at the counter, and Miss Provic, I don't know what was up her ass, called the cops on me. God damn it. And then they said something about I pissed outside. I said, well, the dumbass manager wouldn't let me use the bathroom. I said, I worked here, but what the hell's wrong with these people? Anyway, so that was just a bad experience. See, it had to ruin it. If I known she wanted to fuck, all she had to do was ask me. I'd accommodate her, anything she wanted. I'd have done it anywhere. She just never asked. And now you get locked up, you talk. That's what I can't understand. See, the porn world and all these girls on TV, it's a big funny thing. And then the next thing, somebody's ruining. That's sexual harassment. You can't be saying that to me at work. Well, don't be wearing a thong and going around without a bra on. Jesus Christ. Well, I can do that. You're not allowed to just have sex with me. What are you going to do with a nudist colony? Walk around with a boner? Don't mean you can hit anything you want. I'll tell you somebody else who ruined something. My nephew had a girlfriend, this beautiful girl. Everybody wanted her. She was hot, model chick. But see, people, I ain't got nothing against porn and porn lifestyle. But these people fuck it up. I'll tell you why. He goes to a party and these three dudes and a girl there, they want to have group sex. And because he doesn't want to, they assaulted him and broke his jaw. And I don't even want to discuss that. So, I mean, you give love a bad name. See, that's what happens. People fuck up a good thing because they ain't got no sense. So, in games I learned and invented, let's see. Robbie Sane taught me the game of Risk, which is a war strategy. And what I learned from that is it's a numbers game. The more men you got in an occupation, the better chance you got of winning. Same Ralph taught me Othello, which is based on the same principle. The game, you win the game when you turn all the pieces on the board to your color. So that's what I'm saying. If you're, want to win the game, you got to have the most people on your side. I got the biggest squad, damn it. Okay, well, that's good. That's why Taylor Swift, she's got the biggest squad. Everybody wants to work for Taylor. Yeah. I can understand that. Taylor's a good girl. So anyway, that's why I don't like to work for anybody. Oh, I tried to get a job at General Motors, and the night before I was sleeping at this guy's house I rented, and I slept on a couch. And he had a Doberman named Lady, and Lady would like to get on my chest and sleep, which I didn't mind because she kept me warm. But she put her face right up my neck. What I didn't like is if you woke up in the middle of the night and had to pee, lady would put her face right in yours and show you her teeth and growl real low. And then she realized she woke up or whatever, and then she'd jump off of you. But I mean, that's not a good feeling for a Doberman's teeth to be right in your face. So anyway, one night I got up. I can't remember if somebody snuck in the house and hit me or I tripped and fell. Anyway, I banged my eye on the dresser going to get a pee, and I don't know what happened. So I had to go to an interview with General Motors the next day with a big black eye, and they fired me and hired me the same day and fired me again. So I was like, Jesus Christ, I don't have no luck. Tried for the railroad, but that was yesterday, see? It's a whole different world today. It's an open door. But I just wanted you to let you know working ain't always cut out to be. Okay, let's see here. I should take better notes, but I'm not getting paid to do this, or I would do it perfectly. I ain't going to spend too much time on it because I'm not getting paid. Now, what I learned about tattoos. Do not drink and party for 5 days and then get a tattoo. Chances are your blood will be thin as water and you will bleed a lot. And when they're done, you might possibly pass out. Where I learned this at was in Morristown, Tennessee, when I met a tattooist named Poke. I don't know Poke's name, but he turned me on to two things. Don't drink and get tattooed. And he also turned me on to how to tighten up your belt line. And he also turned me on to Steve Earle's album, Copperhead Road, which I do covers of Johnny Come Lately. I love that song. But every song on there is good. I like that one. Copperhead Road. Thank you, Poke. I don't know whatever happened to Poke. He had long hair. I used to go over to this other guy's house down there in Morristown. He had this girl called Yoda. She was a pretty little blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl. I used to go over there and smoke weed with him, and Yoda would come out, and she couldn't even talk hardly, but she called me asshole. And she said it with a southern drawl and smile, and everybody thought that was funny. I was like, what? This girl's cussing at me. She's only 2 years old. Hey, asshole. Yoda. Yeah, I remember you, Yoda. You're probably all growed up and hot as hell now. I pity your dad. His hair was longer than Poke's. And who else do I remember from Morristown? I got to meet Randy from Colbach, Holly Davidson, and it was at a party, and I was all foggy in the brain because I like to get twisted. And Randy pulled a gun on me. I don't know, he was pointing at me. I don't know if I did something wrong. I never found out. Nothing bad happened. Or if he was showing it to me. I didn't have a gun, so I kind of proceeded with caution, and I said, what are you pointing that gun at me for? Anyway, he didn't say much. He put it up, so that ended well. Randy, don't be pointing guns at me, buddy. I don't like that. I don't have a gun. I ain't pointing one at you. Oh, George Jackson taught me I could. George was a black guy. Me and him was in the lunch line in 8th or 9th grade. George got mad and said I spit in his food. Well, shit, you ain't even got food, George. We're in line. He starts unloading on me. Socked me about 8 or 9 times. I just looked at him like, when you going to hit me, dumbass? Well, they took me to the principal's office, buy him lunch. I ain't buying him shit. I didn't spit on Jack. George, you can dish it out. Would you like to take it? I wonder. Who cares? That's water under the bridge. See, I get all these crazy ideas from Adam Sandler's movie with Jack Nicholson, Anger Management, where he goes back and faces all of the bullies that, kicked sand in his face, pulled his pants down and all that stuff. Beat his ass or whatever. Takes a living and keeps on ticking. Yeah, so I never drank anymore, and I never got any more tattoos from Poke, but I did get some, I never drank for 5 days. And I did get more tattoos, and I didn't bleed then, so I learned a lesson. Almost passed out after that, too. Now, I thank Dad and my Uncle Gordon for teaching me how to hunt and fish and camp. Been camping since I was young, and right now, so I'm camping now. Oh, God darn it. I'm getting bored. I just think I talk too goddamn much. I'm getting tired of hearing myself. Let's see here. I had a girl once that had 4 sisters, and I liked all of them, but I respected their husbands. Now, I didn't make passes at them, but if I was living in the porn world, we'd have hit them all. And I had one favorite. It was her sister that began with an R. I loved her dearly. I liked her sister that began with a D, too. I loved her dearly. They were hot girls. I say something, but, you know, you live and learn. Them days are gone. I tell you, one of them made a pass at my girl, and she told me about it. So when he wasn't around, I made a pass at his. That's how guys are. Yeah, well. Oh, Dave Tiberia, a boxer in Delaware, at a party one time, threw a beer bottle at my '64 Chevy because I wouldn't box him. And I'm like, dude, you're a trained boxer. I'm a guitar player, and I like sex. Well, I'm not trained to fight, dude. Give me about 20 years, and I'll train. Yeah, well, okay. He's a macho man. Okay. Well, it's all good. I don't want to fight him either. Although his brother got his ass whipped by one of the Bear brothers, I won't say which one. He was a Marine. I liked it. He was my buddy somewhat. I don't know. All right. Stoya is my hottie still, but I know better. You'd think I'd give up on that. Okay, current events. The current champ is WWE, Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston. The current lady champs are Becky Lynch and Bayley. And in football, the Patriots won. The Washington Capitals won in hockey last year. And, of course, the Boston Red Sox won the World Series. Basketball is winding up this year, I think. And Golden State Warriors won. You know, I compared Mark Spitz and Michael Phelps' body analysis. Now, Mark Spitz was a little guy and, you know, had little feet and little hands, and he didn't have a big arm span, but he was able to win 7 gold medals, and I kind of wonder about that. Now, they said the reason Michael Phelps could do it was because of the way his body was made. He had an arm span longer than his body height. His hands and feet were huge. He's the same height as me, 6'4". The only difference is he had 14-inch feet. I had 12-inch. He had huge hands. I have a little normal than hands. I don't know. But I like swimming. I like ocean swimming. I never competed in the Olympics. They won that shit in their 20s. I'm, you know, pushing it and trying to get it done now at my age. Boys Cry Tough. That's by Bad Company. It's about a guy goes to a bar and runs his mouth and gets stabbed up and dies. Well, Johnny Blade was a song by Black Sabbath. On one of their albums, Johnny Blade, yeah, he'd pull a knife on you. And then, you know, there's all kinds of songs about guns and knives, so I'm not into that as far as killing people. That's not my MO, but they sell that shit, you know. Okay. Yeah. Did I say anything I wanted to? Yeah, I did. I think I said it all. Yes, I've completed this presentation and it took an hour, but I hope you enjoy watching it. And I'm getting better every day. Judge Perdition. Having a wonderful time down here in beautiful Orlando and living my life.